And we can just dance the night away until we get no more. I'll shake all the hurt away so you can feel and forget who you used to be. For just tonight, could you just dance the night away?
I feel like so many of us are holding ourselves to standards that really are unrealistic and don't make sense for us. And I was just getting ready for the day, and I just kept having this thought of we are being unrealistic with our bodies as women. And I think what kind of started all of this was my sister was talking about how she was putting a lot of effort into trying to take care of her hair, trying to, prevent breakage, trying to get it to grow longer, all of those things, which is great. We all want healthy hair. I think that's great. But she was talking about how basically she wasn't really styling it. She was showering, letting it air dry, and then kind of feeling like her hair wasn't looking like how she wanted it to. And we just kind of got into this conversation about like, that's not realistic. It's not realistic to literally have your hair air dry from the shower and have it look really soft and sleek and looking really great. Like, that's just not a realistic standard. And I just think about that with our body image and how we look at ourselves and how many unrealistic standards we hold ourselves to. Like thinking, I mean, for myself, I think about like my skin. Like it's not realistic to like have no pores, right? And so trying to find this like glass finish on your skin, you're going to be trying forever because the standard is so unrealistic. Like that's just not possible. We have skin. Our skin has blemishes and freckles and, different textures. Like that's just how skin is. Or like it's not realistic to have literally no stomach, right? When we see, sometimes maybe the images that we see online or in social media, like and we know this, like we know that things are edited. We know that things are photoshopped. Like I think sometimes we can know that, but yet when we look at things online, when we look at images online or even videos, we forget that sometimes, and then we compare ourselves to, maybe somebody that had their makeup professionally done before something, or someone that has makeup artists that help them get ready, right? What we're comparing ourselves to isn't a realistic standard for like everyday life. And so then I do feel like, and I can see how that translates to trying a bunch of different products, trying the next new thing, looking for what is going to give me that thing that I'm looking for. So, yeah, I've just been kind of thinking about that a little bit over and over about how when we set ourselves up or when we start comparing ourselves to something that's not realistic, I feel like we set ourselves up to fail, right? We're setting ourselves up to fail because it's never realistic. It's never going to be attainable. It doesn't matter how many products you use in your hair. I mean, your hair just isn't going to look as good air dried versus if you style it, right? That's just the reality. And I mean, I guess you could. And I guess even thinking of like body frame and body size, like if you are different frames and you're comparing yourself to someone with a really thin body frame and you have maybe a larger body frame or even just a medium bottom body frame, it's unrealistic to compare yourself and to want to be where somebody else is because that's just not realistic for you. And I'm just having a lot of thoughts and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I think it's just so easy to forget what is normal, right? Look at like the people around you, like that's normal. And there's this thing that I've heard, and I don't know if it was in the research or where, but it was basically saying that back before the internet and back before social media and all that stuff, we really only had the people around us to compare ourselves to, right? The neighbors, the people that you saw in real life, maybe there were you know, TV, but it just wasn't the same. And so But today, instead of just comparing yourself to the people that are, you know, at work and in your communities, you're comparing yourself with the whole world, right? So you're seeing, I mean, honestly, the most beautiful people in the whole world are on the internet, and that's what you're comparing yourself to, not just the people within your community or within the groups that you're in real life. And so the comparison that we're so what we're comparing has completely changed because now we're comparing ourselves with, everybody in the whole world, based on what we see online. And I think that can maybe distort our sense of what is normal and what is like realistic for us. Like literally, we just I think we have to think and maybe realign ourselves with what is normal, what is realistic for ourselves. So I would ask, think of maybe the beauty standard that you're striving after, or even the thing that you see as a perceived flaw in yourself, or something that you're trying to maybe fix about yourself, and maybe ask, what is realistic? Is what I'm trying to achieve really something that's realistic? Because I do wonder if we get so caught up in what we see online with, you know, commercials or the products that people push, and I wonder how realistic that, the products that people are pushing, like how realistic is that? Or like, okay, for example, I've seen this like clay, it's like this Australian clay face mask, and they're like, if you use this, you won't have to use foundation, right? And like, I really honestly was tempted to buy it. I was like looking into it. It was I mean, it was expensive, but I was like, if you don't need foundation and it fixes all my skin problems, like I want it, right? And I was looking up reviews and basically they were like, it's a clay mask. Like it's not anything really magical. And I literally have stuff for a clay mask at my house. And I was like, okay, why don't I just start using that? But the idea that this product could solve all my skin issues and I wouldn't need foundation, like that was so tempting to me. And I like really looked into buying it. And then I'm like, okay, wait, is that really realistic? And so I wonder how many times we see something and we think, oh my gosh, this is going to be the solution to all my problems. And I guess I would just ask, or I would just encourage, like, maybe we should just slow down and fact check that. Like, is that really gonna be the solution? Is that really gonna solve all the problems? Is that really this magical fix to your skin issues or your hair issues or your weight issues? Like, I don't know. And I think we need to, yeah, just reality check ourselves and say, what is realistic? What is Am I searching for something that's unattainable? Because if I am, I'm always going to be dissatisfied with the results. How can I be content? How can I be content with myself? How can I be content with my life? How can I just be okay being who I am when I have all these perceived flaws and I have all these things that I need to fix about myself and I'm on this endless search to find a product that's going to solve all my problems? But but there is no real solution, right? There is no solution to pores because we all have pores, right? There is no solution to like, you know, hair breakage because our hair breaks off. Like that happens sometimes. There is no solution to having a stomach because we all have stomachs. And when you sit, you have skin and maybe you could be so thin that you don't and there's nothing wrong with that. But, it's not super realistic to have no stomach or you know or even like to have really big boobs or a really big butt and have really skinny legs. Like that's not really realistic. Like our bodies are proportional, and that's just the reality. That is real life. So again, I guess I would just encourage to really ask yourself, what is realistic? Am I really being realistic about myself and what is attainable for me, or am I just constantly chasing this idea that I can be a certain way when that might not be the reality? So, I guess I just want to say that there is nothing wrong with wanting to feel good in your body, but we have to align our expectations with what can be real for ourselves. Otherwise, right, we're going to be constantly failing at something that we were never able to achieve from the beginning. And I think that could be really irritating and we could, yeah, we're just setting ourselves up to fail and we're setting ourselves up to be disappointed and we're setting ourselves up to blame ourselves for something that is absolutely nothing that's our fault. And I think a question to end with is what would it look like to have a more human expectation of yourself, right? We're human. We are real, right? We have pores and we have skin that sags and we have freckles and blemishes. Like we are human. And like, what would it be like to just have the expectation that I'm human? Like, what would that be like? And so sometimes peace within our bodies can come from adjusting the standard that we set for ourselves and not necessarily fixing ourselves. And so maybe we can create more peace within our lives and with our bodies and how they just are today by adjusting the standard that we set for ourselves and not from fixing ourselves.